What makes for good subject lines and preview lines in email marketing? Welcome to 20 for 20, where we share our 20 best tips for email marketing and business to celebrate our 20th anniversary. First, some bad news about subject lines. They are not the most important thing that determines whether or not your email gets opened. As we explained in our last video, it's your from name, and what I really mean by that is your reputation for providing value. That's the most important factor. And changing your reputation can take time. But the subject line and the preview line are next in the order of importance, and that's what we'll cover today. But before I do that, more bad news. Not even me, with my 20 years of experience, nor anyone else on the internet, can give you the silver bullet answers to how to write subject lines. So don't believe them. If there's anything I can tell you about this, is that the data is always changing, and your relationship to your audience is so unique that you can't take any of these tips or any others as gospel. So there is good news, however, that there are some best practices and ways to think about subject lines that will help tremendously. So, big picture, think of the subject line like the title of a book. It has to create that desire for someone to want to read it. People want a way to sort their email and making decisions on whether or not your email is worthy of their attention. So the question becomes, how do I get their attention with so little real estate? First, some basics. There are several categories you can put subject lines into that might make it easier for you to organize them. In general, we use a subject line to pique curiosity or convey value. It could be informative or intriguing. Most importantly, it has to grab your attention. So successful subject lines communicate one of these things. There's the direct benefit, okay? Maybe it's the 5 biggest email marketing mistakes that almost all businesses make. Okay, pretty clear on what you're going to get. Or 40% off store-wide, right? Direct, hard-hitting subject line. I remember when I was approving an email for one of our clients, and our subject line was something like, our big event. And only after I opened it and after I read to the bottom that I saw they were offering this 40% off store-wide because the client didn't want to sound salesy. Well, obviously we changed that. If there's an undeniable direct benefit to your reader, put that first. Next category, curiosity, okay? What are all the girls talking about, ... Okay, purely doesn't say what's in the email, but it gets your attention and makes you want to open it. Then you can go with scarcity, right? Only 3 left in stock. They're scarce. Better order now. Or urgency. Free shipping expires at midnight. You could go with news. Donald Trump catches the coronavirus. Social proof. Why everyone is buying this weighted blanket. Or you could go a story. How a simple farmer became an overnight millionaire, right? Rags to riches story. There's humanity. The 3 things I hate about myself. Anyway, hopefully that's a framework that will give you some ideas for subject lines. You can also help your subject lines stand out by using some power words, which we will link below. And the length of the subject line also matters. Too long, and it'll get cut off in inboxes. The optimal length is between 41 and 50 characters. However, it varies across email clients and mobile users because the real estate changes. And you should break the rules once in a while, right? Try a really short or a really long subject line and see what happens. Be outstanding. What that means is to literally stand out. MailChimp sends out billions of emails every year, and they've put together a best practices approach, which we're also linking below. So here's some do's and don'ts around these items. Add personalization. This is not just the name, by the way, but other relevant data. I'll give you an example a little bit later on this. Be descriptive. Use power words. Keep it short. If you can't keep it short, put the most important words first. Limit punctuation. Use emojis carefully. Test subject lines. We'll get to that in a future 20 for 20 video. Here's some don'ts. Don't use clickbait. Okay, make sure the subject line is actually relevant. Remember the reputation thing, right? You can fool somebody once into opening your email, but you just ruined your reputation. You're not going to get any opens in the future. Don't use words that are known spam triggers. You can check your line using an online tool. We'll also link below. Here's an email broadcast exclusive. I haven't seen anyone else talking about this. One practical tip we use for writing subject lines, I force our team to write at least 10 subject lines for every email we send out. It's just part of our process, and it works. You think your first subject line is pretty good, then you keep going. And by number 7, you're really getting it dialed in. So try that. Here's another advanced ninja move when it comes to subject lines and personalization and relevancy that I hinted at before. The more targeted your audience segment, the more powerful your subject lines can be. Let's say you sell vitamins and you know a portion of your audience is women. And not just women, but women who practice yoga. So your subject line targeting this segment could be why women who practice yoga need this vitamin. Okay, that's a winner all day long for that segment. Here's a true story about using segments. One of our clients is a furniture retailer. We targeted a small segment of their list. It was only about 8% of their list. People who had a private credit card with good credit and people who had a store credit account with marginal credit. We actually created 2 different targeted emails for this small group. So now we're only about 4% of their list, with a subject line something like, good news, Ken, we extended your line of credit. And we drove $430,000 in sales in one weekend, targeting 8% of the list. So look for ways to target a smaller portion of your list with super relevant subject lines. You won't believe how powerful it is. Before I talk about preview lines, I want to remind you that we're giving away something for every 20 for 20 this year. And this month, we're doing it a bit differently to make sure that everyone is a winner. I'm giving everyone on our email list one of the coolest tools known to man, maybe as valuable as the wheel itself. It's the letter opener. I swear to God, you're going to love opening your mail with this thing. Just click the link on the email that you got so we can get your mailing address, and we'll send you absolutely free of charge what will be your new favorite tool, this email broadcast letter opener. Because we know that email is not the only mail that you open. So go ahead, see if we're for real, click on the link. Sorry, but we are limiting this to U.S. addresses only. So if you're on our email list, but you're not in the U.S., give us the name and address of someone who is. We'll treat them on your behalf. Okay, preview lines. What is a preview line? Why is a preview line important? This is an often ignored aspect of email marketing, but it's a very important one. It's one of the key ways we tell if someone has their email marketing house in order or if they're still playing rookie ball. It's the third most important piece of information behind the from name and the subject line that will help a reader decide whether or not to open your email. Preview lines should always complement or add to the subject line. The preview line will act as a continuation, like to provide additional information or expand on the email's content or call to action, or often it'll offer a additional benefit to opening the email that the subject line doesn't even address. So never let your subject line be, if you have problems opening this email, please view it in your browser. Okay, that's a rookie mistake. Also, never repeat your subject line. We see that too. So where do you put the preview line? If you're using a decent email service provider, there'll be a designated place for the preview line. If you're not, it'll likely be the first line of your email. That's why you see the dreaded if you're having problems reading this email, because that's the preview line is the first email at the top of their template. So to wrap up, here's your takeaway on subject lines. There is no silver bullet, but you should follow some best practices we outlined, including writing at least 10. And always use the preview line in combination with your subject line. On my next email, I'm going to be giving you a giant gift garnered from 30 years in business that's going to impact every aspect of your business and your personal life. So make sure you don't miss that one. And in the meantime, be sure to sign up for our 20 for 20 campaign if you haven't done so already. Thanks for listening. This is Ken Mahar, CEO of Email Broadcast, where we help you win more business by handling your email marketing for you. To get more information, be sure to schedule a free 20-minute consultation with the link below. Thank you.